a bit dark. You guys, the lighting is very, very bad. Very bad. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. Well, it looks like it's about to rain, so that's probably why. Okay, I'm gonna get started on today's live. Again, I'm outside. Okay, so as you guys can tell by the title, it is titled The Truth About Tarot. So, many of you guys are aware that on my channel, I used to do tarot, which I love doing it. I love reading the cards. I love giving messages to you guys. It was good, right? And then I stopped. There was a reason for it, for my own personal reasons. However, my personal reason isn't why I'm making this video, okay? I actually received this channel message or this vision within this week, the beginning of this week. So that's why I'm going to share with you guys so that you guys could be aware of it and know the truth and the history behind it. Okay, so the truth about tarot. Okay, so apparently there is a dark origin story. Many people consider, tarot as like a witchcraft or so for the witches. It comes from the witches, or they even consider it demonic. There is a dark story with tarot, but it doesn't come from witches, and it doesn't even come from demons or the Satan or the devil. It doesn't come from him. That's actually misleading, but there is a dark story with it. If you guys go to take a look at the traditional tarot cards, okay, many of them have meanings to it. Okay, we have the major arcana and then we have the minor arcana. The major arcana talks about major events that's meant to impact your life, right? That your lessons that you're going to go through. Minor arcana talks about daily issues or problems or obstacles or things that you need to be aware of in your daily life or within a week or something. So that's what it tells when it comes to the meaning from our perspective. But however, the major arcanas and minor arcanas tells the origin story, the dark origin story tells events of what actually occurred to these, what actually occurred in the past. Because if you take a look at the cards, it's in the form of a character, right? We have the knights, we have, if we're talking about the minor arcana, we have the knights, we have the pages, we have the kings, we have the queens, we have the emperor, and we have the empress. If we talk about the major arcana, it tells a character as well. We have the full card. It talks about like a young child, whatnot, a young person. But all this is based off a true story, okay? It's based off a true event that actually occurred, but it's dark, okay? So whoever, let me get into the story. So apparently, the one who created tarot was a magician, but this magician was dark. He was a dark mage, okay? A very, very dark individual. This magician was very powerful. He was very gifted. He came from a noble family. Okay, he came from a very noble family, and based off what I saw, the vision that I had with this message is this time. This is a very old time period. I would say medieval, middle age. I'm not middle age, well, something like that. But it's an old time period. When this occurred, okay, this dark mage, when he was alive, okay, when he was in existence, it was around that time, medieval dark mage, middle age time. So he came from a noble family. He was gifted. He was a mage. He was a magician. Okay, so that's what he was. However, this magician, he struggled a lot with his sexuality. Okay, he struggled a lot with it, and instead of understanding why he liked it the same sex, basically. So he okay, he came from a noble family, right? So in his mind, he think that it was wrong to even think things that way, and he blamed what he was feeling and what he was going through. He blamed the males. He blamed the men for what he was going through. He blamed them like as if they put something on him. Like he was very, very okay, yeah, so the car passed by. So he was very, very, very like I would say confused, but he wasn't an idiot or dumb or like whatnot. It was just more of how he interpreted it. He didn't see it in that way. Like, hold on, you guys. It was the way that how he interpreted it. He didn't see it. What he was feeling was that he was gay. Okay, he was a gay magician. Okay, but no, instead of like accepting that, he blamed these young boys, these men for what he was feeling, as if they put something on him. Okay, and he interpreted it very differently, like very like dark. Okay, because this is a dark origin story. So that's how he interpreted. What I got with this dark mage, is he became very disturbed, but what he was feeling, he didn't know how to deal with it, right? And then his mind, it kind of just like dwindled, like deteriorated in a way where he became very sadistic, like a sadist, right? He became like a sadist, and he just didn't know how to. You guys, I hate this quality. It's so horrible, so dark, and it's like foggy. Yeah. So let's going back to his mind. We're diving deep into this dark magician's mind. His mind started to deteriorate in a very worse way. Like he interpret what he was feeling in a sadistic way. So how he dealt with it, he started to play games, right? And how he played games, he will lure these warlock boys, warlike men. He liked the young boys specifically, but he would do it to young boys and men. But they were warlocks, okay? Warlocks are male witches, okay? They are not mages. Mages are like wizards. So you guys gotta understand the difference. There's a witch and there's a wizard. So, anyways, what he did is he lured them in. Okay, he will like, this. He came off. Okay, he came from a noble family, right? So he came off like he could be trusted. Like no one thought that this person was dealing what he was dealing with. Behind closed door, he wore a mask. Like he wore a mask in public, but behind closed door, his real self was revealed. Okay, and he was dark. Okay, he became dark because he just did not know how to deal with what he was dealing with, and plus, to the point where it got so dark, he became sadistic. So he would lure these young boys, and then he would poison them. In, like I was getting some type of drink. You know how nowadays we have alcohol, whatever. They didn't have alcohol back then. It was more of like I don't know what it's called something. It was more of like some type of elixir that he made, right? But they used to drink something, but it wasn't like our alcohol that we know today. It was something else. But he did something to their drinks to make them woozy. They were still alert, they were still aware, but like he would do something to their drinks, and so basically he poisoned them. And when he did that, he would do things to them. So if you guys take a look at the cards, the lover cards was like a drunk version, like a. Hold on. Thank you. Um, the lover cards is actually two young males. That's the original, like the very, very original card. People think it's the male and the woman. No, because remember, tarot doesn't come from. Okay, tarot. The original tarot cards was made by a dark magician. Okay, and it was due to he made tarot, but he made this game. It was a game. Tarot was a game to him, but This game was based off of real life events where he will lure young warlocks, young males, to his home, whatever, and he would do, I won't say experiments on them, but he was like a way of torturing before he would torture them, rape them, and then kill them. What does that sound like to you? What does that sound like to you? It sounds like a sociopath, serial killer type of thing. I feel like he was like, I don't think he was the first serial killer, but it's very like, he had that mind of a serial killer. But that's what he would do. But he played games with them and he found it funny. Okay, because again, his mind was deteriorating. The way that he interpreted what he was feeling, he he blamed them for what he was feeling. He blamed them for making him gay or homosexual. Like he blamed these warlocks. He blamed these mages. Because I feel like it was both. It was warlocks and mages that he did it to, but they were young. He targeted young boys, okay? Because I feel like if he did to the men, it was like it was difficult for him. It was more so the young more boys, because that's what I wrote in my notes. But yeah, he created a game. This was a game. Tarot was a game. It was never a card. It became that. But tarot comes from his story, what he created. Okay, so it was a game. Okay, so remember that it was a game. Well, user 69, you can go. Like no one's forcing you here, so why are you here? This is what I don't understand about you guys. No one has a gun to your head, right? You have a choice. Why are you here? It's very that simple. And I don't like stupid people. I really don't. Anyways, going back to my story, this Dark Mages. So Terror was a game that he created, and he will lure them. He will play games with them. Well, he will poison them first. He will poison them, play games with them. But when I say games, because the poison is making them like woozy. They were still alert. They were very much aware, but like they didn't have control of their body. They didn't have like, think of like a drunk person, but like someone who's drugged, like as if someone was roofied, something like that. So that's what he would do to them, and then he will play games with them. And the games that he will play, and he will force them to do things too. The games that he would play with them is very sadistic, torture. He would torture them before he did what he did, which I said it's like he was experimenting on them, because like as if he was trying to figure out what made him like them in that way, what made him want to be attracted to them. Like it was like as if like again his mind was very disturbed. It became very very wicked and disturbed. So in his way, in his mind, when he was playing this game, he was also experimenting on them, as if that would give him answers on why he felt this way towards them. Okay, so that was another thing. So he would basically roofie them. And they were very much alert, they were very much aware, but they did not have control of their body. It was some type of elixir that he made. And then he would torture them. He would play this game, tarot. Okay, this game, tarot, was, he would force them to do something as if like, I feel like this game had like some type of time. He placed like some type of time to it. Like, as if they had to prove something to him. Because I'm going to tell you what happens to him at the end of I'm still describing this person, this dark mage. Because he did end up, I'm going to tell you what happens to this mage. But again, going back to the game, Tarot. Tarot was a game back then that he created, this dark mage. But he put a timetable on it. I don't know your name, and I'm not going to pronounce it because I don't care. You're insignificant to me. So I'm going to remove you. So there you go. Um, going back to what I was saying, you gotta be tripping. Seriously. Again, you're being removed. Why are you still commenting? Hold on, but okay. So it was a game. It was like he placed a timetable on them. It was like they had to prove something to him, like for them to stay alive. Again, he had a very sadistic mind. This game is like they would have to do things. Like he was forcing them to do things, and he would tell them like, "Oh, if you do this, then I'll let you go." Okay, Terrell. This game had a time, right? Like think of Jigsaw. Remember that you guys know that movie Jigsaw? It was something like that. It was something like that. I told you it was about to rain. I told you about to rain. That's why it's like dark, you guys. The quality it is. But yeah, it was like Jigsaw, but like more creepy and sadistic because it was torture. Like he tortured them basically. Like I feel so bad for these poor souls. Like at the end, they were set free. Even in death, they were set free. But what he put these young boys through, these young warlocks through, it was horrible. It was very like they went through the it was bad. So tarot cards are based off this game. He created this game. He would put them through. He would make them do things like the love of card. Like going back to the love of cards, you guys know the traditional meaning of the love of card. It talks about a soulmate. It talks about like a soul contract, like a partner, right? But during the game, the actual game, when it comes to the lover card, is like he would force these two warlocks to like, sleep with it. Like he would force like some type of mating process. Like obviously they can't have kids, that breeding, but like he would force them to mate, and like, so he would watch. But these people, he will drug them. They will always be drugged, and they're still alert, and they're also in survival mode because he's torturing them at the same time. So again, it's like he enjoyed watching them doing, the deed, but he would also torture them during that process. He would do things to them, and that aroused him in a way. That's the sadist, isn't it? To cause pain and feel aroused by that, it came from him, this dark mage. Okay, okay, so that's what he did. That was the game. So that's one example. Another one was the Fool card. If you guys know the traditional meaning of the Fool card, it talks about a young person venturing out to a journey. Right, this person is a fool. It's ignorant. Don't know any better. This person is unaware. This person do not understand life. This person doesn't know the true meaning of life. The origin story of tarot is a game, but this game is dark, okay? And the real meaning behind the Fool card was, remember I said he used to lure the young boys to him. He liked targeting specifically young warlocks, young boy warlocks. It had to be boys because he was dealing with his homosexuality. He didn't know how to deal with it. He blamed these boys, these men, for his homosexuality. Okay, so the Fool represent these young boys. He considered them fools for trusting because he had to lure them in some way, in some capacity. Again, in public, he come off as a trusting person. Like he came from a noble family. I saw that in my vision. He came from a noble family, like someone who's meant to be respected. So when people saw, like when these young fool boys, young warlocks saw him, they would talk to him. They probably even knew of him based off his name, because again he was noble. So he felt that they were easily beguiled, easily fooled. That's why it's named the Fool card. Okay, it has a hidden meaning, you guys. He felt like it was easy. They were easy targets. Okay, so that's a lot of meaning. So each of these cards has a meaning to it. It all connects to what happened back then. It all connects to the games that he created. It all connects to all the death that he committed against these warlocks. It all connects to that. So nowadays the witches and even warlocks today, they're like using tarot cards to give you guys reading and don't understand the real where it comes from. Tarot was a game, a dark game, way back in the Middle Ages, very very dark. So that's why I feel like it has a lot of negative attachment to it because of its origin. That's why. Because of its origin. That's why it's a lot of negativity. And people think it came from the demons. And people think it came from the witches. It didn't come from the witches. It didn't come from the demons. Satan didn't create it. That is actually misleading. I was misinformed by that. We all thought it came from Satan, the devil. It didn't even come from him. It came from a dark mage that struggled with his homosexuality. Point blank period. That's where it came from. Okay? But I'm going to tell you what is the way of the witches, what is the way of the warlocks, what is the way of the mages. Okay? I'm going to tell you what is our way. It's not tarot. Tarot, it was a game, you guys. They made it into tarot cards and changed its meaning. Like they didn't really change its meaning because it has a hidden meaning within it. But they made it presentable. But the game was dark. I feel like there was even like paintings about it, like what he would do. Like I feel like he was the type of person that would keep records of what he'd done. That's just how this dark mage. It's like I'm tapping into his mind. It's like he kept records of it. He kept like something of these victims to remember it. Again, a sadist, a straight up sadist. Okay, so let's get to what happened to the dark mage. So what actually happened to him was something that I saw. It was very self-explanatory to me. I saw him when he died. Okay, he ended up dying. Okay, but I feel like he was killed. Um, he ended up dying, but what I saw was he was in purgatory. It wasn't hell. This was a little form of hell. It was purgatory because this hell, he was being tortured. So everything that he done to these young warlocks, these young souls, these young boys, was done to him in purgatory. It's like he was reliving their death. He was being tortured of what he had done. So that was his purgatory. And I actually saw who was doing it to him. It was sometimes I don't know who it was, but I saw a person that was doing it, and this person like was basically how his hell, his purgatory is like he's experiencing the death of all the souls that he killed. And what he is seeing who's doing it is some type of dark person, and in actuality this dark person is like a mirror of who he was, what he was doing. So it's kind of like this dark person was mirroring him, but he's just thinking this dark person is like torturing him and like, who are you? But it's him. It's kind of like, it's not hard to explain to you guys, but it's like I'm trying to make it clear and precise for you guys to understand. Okay, but that's what I saw. But he was tortured. Like he's in purgatory, this dark mage, for what he had done. So he's dead. Like I actually saw him. I feel like that's justice. That's karma. I don't feel bad for this dark mage at all. He had what was coming to him. So let's get into the way of the witches. So the actual witches, we did had a form of cards. Okay, the form of cards that we have isn't tarot. It was never tarot. Tarot was a game, you guys. Tarot was never cards. It was an actual dark game. Okay, but witches, we did have cards that we used back then, but it wasn't tarot. It was, you guys know, like if you were to see like a psychiatrist or something like that, they use that little painting, that black art painting, and they ask you, tell me what you see. It was some type of psychology behind what witches use, but that's what they had. They had something like that, but I don't know what it's called, but I call it black art. okay, because of the images I saw. It was like black ink, and the witches were used that to do readings for people. They were used that, okay, back then. They will also do something called hand printing. I didn't know what that was. I'm like hand printing. It's a form of palmistry, but the palmistry that it did back then was different. It's like all they had to do was touch like one of these lines of your palm, and they could like they can see everything that they need to see. They can feel everything they need to feel, and they tell you while still holding your hand. It's like a form of touching your palm, and they tell you what they see and they tell you what they feel. So it was called hand printing. That's what it was called back then. Another thing that they did, they used ruins. Okay, the ruins is like symbols. Okay, it's like but it's like the way that they had it, it was like a form of marbles. You guys know marbles, how they used to play that back way back in the early 2090s even. I don't know if you guys remember marbles. They used to play marbles. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that, but if you don't, look it up on your own time. But that's what they use. They use ruins though. That's where marbles come from as well. It's like it comes from witches. Okay, they use the ruins and they would like shake it up, and then they would do like that, and then they would do like a reading and based on what they saw when they shook up the marbles and then they threw it out, and they would tell you what they see. So that was another form of readings that we did was ruin marbles, hand printing, which I explained to you guys. Watch the replay if you didn't hear me. Um, so ruin marbles, hand printing. It was something else that I saw that they did. Oh, they read tea leaves. Tea leaves is something like reading something like they read water in a pot, soaked with water. Okay, they could read water. There's witches that could read water. So that's some of the things that I saw with the witches. Warlocks, it was the same thing because basically that's what they. Warlocks are male witches. They use the same thing, but their thing was ruins. They use ruins, symbols. Okay. And of course spells. That's the traditional spells. That actually came from witches for real. Spells and mages, wizards. They use in like to activate things, to activate crystals, to activate the ruins. They have to have some type of incantation. It's like a form of a spell, a form of like it's like a form of a spell or form of like an affirmation. You know how we have affirmation today to like declare something about ourselves or to like claim something. That's what spells are, like a form of affirmation, a form of like I said, affirmation. So they had to use that to activate the ruins, to activate its power, because the ruins are a symbol. It has some type of symbol that has a power behind it. Okay, so that's what they would use. So this is the truth behind tarot. It comes from, it has a dark origin story. Okay, and I explain it to you guys. Hi, Stephen Knight. Okay, happy you being a little weird. This be normal on my channel. You guys do not have to be weird. So that you be weird, you gotta get out. Because you guys are acting very, very weird. This be normal. Okay? So you guys asking weird questions and being... Trust me, I do not need your validation. Okay? I know I don't need you to tell me that. Because when people do that, it's just weird to me. It's just weird. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. So this watch the replay if you guys are just jumping in. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the replay so you guys can get the full story. I might just do a video version so that, because I kept stopping because of the comments, so I didn't like that. That's why I don't really like doing lives, but it is what it is. So see you guys next time. Bye.